Good afternoon to everyone. I really enjoyed the previous presentations. It is good to know that I'm surrounded by experts in copyright and education. So I can focus on a very special problem. How can we teach which rights are managed by collective management organizations or collecting societies? I would like to start with a number, 10 billion. Do you know what it is? The authors' collective management organizations in more than 100 countries collected 10 billion euros in 2017. It's a huge amount. So we can see that copyright is money even if many people cannot make a living from it. We know bad examples from history such as Mozart, Puccini or Franz Kafka, but good examples like Elton John or J.K. Rowling show that well-managed copyrights are gold. If you are a writer, your publisher works for your money, but mostly in the music industry, composers, lyricists and performers cannot control each use of their work or performance, like this lady in the streets of London. Instead of contactless payment method, it is the mission of each true CMO to license uses, to monitor the uses, to collect royalties, to distribute royalties, and to enforce rights if it is necessary. Using another example, visitors throw almost £2,000 per day in the Trevi Fountain in Rome. The impossible quest of the CMOs is to identify places who use music and to collect these pennies and fill the creator's purse. If you look at this chart from the UK, you can see that collective management of rights makes creative industries complete. CMOs negotiate between the parties, so it is essential to know which right of which right holder is managed by collective management organizations. The whole collective rights management system has a cobweb-like structure that is less easy to comprehend and more challenging to teach. So, let's see what prior copyright knowledge is necessary if we want to teach it. Students should be able to make a distinction between groups of right holders and between different economic rights. If they see this picture, they should identify reproduction and public performance rights, performance, and maybe one composer, the king. In my next slides I will show you 4 different teaching methods: the easiest way, the no way, the development approach, and the playful method. Of course, these approaches can complement each other. Let's look at the first one. In some countries, there are registers for CMOs or other licensing bodies. Some of them, like the Hungarian one, is a complex database with searching tools, but others have a descriptive nature or just a collection of hyperlinks. Even though conventions or directives are the main references of rights management, it is not recommended on basic and intermediate level to analyze them. These legal sources are full of cross-references, and each has wide leeway for the member states. I am biased in favor of teaching the development of legal instruments. Collective management of copyrights can be shown through poor painter's eyes or astonishing works like Banksy's Love's in the Bin. Does Banksy get resale royalty after this picture? In the music industry, old cases can present how technical development influenced copyright and why mechanical reproduction of music was widely licensed through CMOs from the 1920s, like the BIM or the MCPS in the UK. And finally, let's see how we can organize a simple CMO game. My idea was to make one sheet for each Hungarian CMO and one sheet for those rights which are managed individually. I made cards for the right holders and for the rights. Artisius is the largest Hungarian CMO, more or less equivalent to the PRS. Let's see a simplified version of its sheet from the game. On the left side, there is place for the represented right holders and the managed economic rights on the right side. The student's task is to work in groups and find the correct place for each card. It is much easier to find the right holders because usually the name of the CMO helps. It is more challenging to find the corresponding rights which are managed by CMOs and which are managed by the right holder in person. My next slide belongs to the Performance Rights Society, like the PPL in the UK. You can see that there is only one represented group of right holders, and there are similar rights. As a summary, I can say that the collective management of rights usually differs from country to country. Therefore, this type of game cannot be used in a one-size-fits-all fashion. The system of CRM is very complex, so we have to simplify it. There is a lot of criticism of CMOs in general. Education of right holders, users, and typical content consumers like us helps to understand the whole system of copyright better. Thank you for your attention.